And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Centipede. This is from a new series of games from IDW based on Atari games. They're also doing Missile Command and Space Invaders. Centipede is, of the three games they're doing, I really like the other two a lot. This is the one I played with the least. I have played Centipede. In fact, most people born in grew up in the 70s and 80s have seen this game in which the Centipede is coming and a gnome is shooting at it. An interesting game. Can you take a video game, though, and make a good board game out of it? It's a little difficult to do. Let's see if they succeeded. One person's going to be the gnome. They're going to pick where they want to start on their end line. And in this game, and the other person is the centipede here. And in this game, you can pick, they could be the green gnome against the blue centipede. And they actually have enough pieces and some rules for a 4-player game, which really is whatever. I'm not really that interested in that. I'm going to be just talking here about the 2-player game. So you have the centipede here, and each centipede comes with their own deck of cards, 11 cards, that you'll be drawing a hand of 3 of them to start off the game with. The gnome has some special cards that they can use. They also have a card here with dice on it. They'll be rolling those to start the game off. And there's mushrooms on the board. Both players are going to seed the board together, and then you begin. Now, on the gnome's turn, if they have 1 or less dice on this, they're going to roll the dice and put them on. Then they're going to take one of the dice and do the actions on that dice. So the actions here are going to be movement. That's the numbers here, 1, 2, or 3. Or 4, and you just move that many spaces exactly in one of the directions. You also have the stars. Those are basically shots. You're using your fairy wand at the thing. You just shoot in a straight line. If it's a mushroom, it goes away. If you kill a centipede section, that goes away. If you kill a bug, you'll kill it and it turns into a mushroom. So there's lots of different things that you can shoot as you're going through this game. You also have a spot to recharge one of these cards. These cards are like one-time shot things you can do. You get to recharge one every turn, an extra shot, an extra movement. Basically roll your dice over again and get rid of a mushroom on the board. So you have these cards, you just flip them over when they're done. And the 1 die roll result will let you unflip them. You can also unflip one at the end of a turn. The centipede player is going to be moving their centipede, and the speed of your centipede is going to be based on the length of the centipede. So you can see here the shorter the centipede is. So this centipede here is going to go speed, let's say here we go, we have 6-speed centipede. It's going to go speed 1. So it's going to hit this. It doesn't do that, so it's going to go up and reverse in the other direction. And then everything else will simply follow it. And then let's say it moves again, so it's going to just move like this. And then if it moved again, it's bouncing off that and going up and then facing the other direction. So eventually, the centipede is moving up and farther. Centipede player is also going to be playing cards. They're going to do things like berserk or have another centipede come on the board or put a mushroom on the board. Or they're going to be spawning these nasty little fleas and spiders. Now, spiders are going to just be spawned, and they're going to be moving 9 spaces forward or diagonally towards the opponent. And fleas are just going to be moving 2 spaces down the thing each turn. And they can also be shot by the fairy player, too. If a spider lands in front or a flea lands in front of the gnome player loses. If the centipede hits this bottom row at any point, it also eats the gnome player loses. If the gnome player takes out all the segments of the centipede, then the gnome player is the winner. And you say, well, why don't you just keep spawning the centipede? Well, that's not how this works. When you spawn a new centipede with this card, you will leave this one on the board unlike the rest of the cards, and it will just add 1 to the speed of your centipede for the rest of your game. You actually have a couple of these cards, so you can spawn them multiple times and add more to its speed. That's pretty much how the game is played. One player is going to eventually win by getting killed by a spider or gnome. That wins for the centipede, or destroying the whole centipede in general. Now, I often go on rants about how I don't understand 8-bit graphics, but in this case, the 8-bit graphics make a lot of sense because it's based on an 8-bit graphic game. And they look really good. These are really good quality pieces. I mean, I think the spiders are some of the coolest components that I've ever seen in a game. The cards have that same kind of artwork on them. They're not really good quality cards, but they look good, right? The dice are useful, but they're a little hard to see. I think I would have made maybe the stars or the numbers, I would have made one of them a different color than the rest. But they do work well for the game. And it's neat that the game comes with blue and green centipedes. Like I said, I'm not really interested in playing the 4-player game, but that is in there. There's a 4-play variation where you will split the game and there's 2 centipede players and 2 gnome players, and you're both shooting at the other gnome and or centipede. But that's what the game looks like. Looks pretty cool. Okay, so Centipede, like I said, it looks really good, and I think to some degree it faithfully recreates the video game in a very slow fashion. See, that's the problem with this game. With Centipede, it was all about the reflexes. You're sitting there, the centipede's coming down, you go, okay, I'm gonna go this way, the centipede's coming, you're shooting at the bugs coming, and you go over there. You don't feel that here. They're trying to make this a strategic 2-player game. And yet it really doesn't feel that strategic. It's like, all right, I'll shoot that mushroom. Okay, if that mushroom's gone, you're going to bounce here and there. Or I could shoot that mushroom, and if you go there. That's not the way the video game was at all, really. The video game was go, 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 go. You didn't have time to think what's the best maneuver to do at any given point. I mean, I guess you did if you're really fast in your head. So while the game looks neat, and while it does a faithful job at emulating how everything works, the centipede is moving down, you're running back and shooting stuff, you got the bugs falling down, and you got to shoot them and do this. It recreates that, but as a board game, it's boring. It just is. It's boring to play both players. I think it's most boring to play the centipede. The gnome, at least, you get to shoot stuff. It's like, yeah, I shot that. Centipede, you're like, okay, I'll play this card now. Here comes the spider. And you don't have a lot of options. Your centipede kind of just moves on its own, and your bugs kind of move on their own. So your option is, what card will I play? Not that interesting. In fact, the game is like, well, you can switch sides. You better play that way because the centipede, frankly, is boring to play. And even the gnome, it's like, I can move 2 and shoot 1, or I can move 3 and shoot 2. Okay. And I think, again, I'm not faulting the designers here. I just think the idea did not work as well. And it is making me a little nervous about Space Defenders and Missile Command because I'm not sure that these games can be translated faithfully into a board game. I'm not sure that they even need to be. But I'm willing to try them. And I was very excited to try this series out. I think it's a great series. And this is not actually dissuading me from the rest, but I am going to go in cautiously on the other ones. So this is a 2 or 4-player game. And I have tried it with 4-player, but just was like, wow, there was just too many things going on. The 2-player game was better, but again, playing the centipede was like, okay, I can't wait till we're done so I can play the gnome. And playing the gnome was like, meh. And I think that's problematic. So overall, the whole thing just did not really gel for me. Don't get me wrong, Atari has made some fantastic games. IDW has made some fantastic games. This combo, though, I don't think should have happened. Dice Tower Judgment, just a bit boring.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.